Hey gamers, we're back with another episode of Let's Create a Competitive Card Game, the Card Art Edition. In this episode, we will be taking a look at two more concepts. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Alright, so last episode we took a look at the second concept for Relic 18, and I did like that concept, so I went ahead and told the artist to proceed with the third and final concept for Relic 18. So we will be taking a look at that concept today, and also the artist did send over the second concept for Relic 19 last week. However, I did not like that concept, so I asked the artist to do another or a progress render of it, and she has sent that over, so we will also be taking a look at the second concept for Relic 19 as well. And what I'll do is I'll also show you guys the original second concept she sent, as well as the more progressed version of that concept as well. So yeah, let's get right to it. Alright, so this is the initial concept for Relic 18, and just to reiterate the effect of Relic 18, the effect was whenever you dealt damage to a card with life, you could increase that amount by 1. So if you attacked your opponent directly, or say you attack an opponent's card in play that has life, that damage amount would be increased by 1. Now, with the original concept, the one that I actually ended up picking was the third one, as that was the one I liked the most. Now, originally, I did not like the second one. It did grow on me. However, I do still like the third one the most. As far as the first image, it looks like the sword from a character on another card game. So for that alone, I did not choose this image. So yeah, let's see the second concept for Relic 18. Alright, so this was the second concept for Relic 18, and I did like this concept. I really liked how this sword looks. It is a bit different. It has this kind of semicircle here, this full steel in here, kind of filled in semicircle, as well as it looks like some brass knuckles with spikes on it. Yeah, this was a very interesting sword. Some things I don't want to say that I didn't like, but one thing that I did question was this spike here. If you're holding the sword, it looks like this spike might actually go into your wrist. However, that is a minor detail. Now, something else that I did mention is that the sword actually looked off center in the image. If you follow up and you follow the line, it kind of goes straight through here, and then right when it gets here, it moves over here, the center of it moves over slightly, and it comes through his hand. So he's either holding it at a weird angle, or this line here that goes through the center here, yes, definitely not lined up, as the center point down here doesn't match the center point up here. It's moved over this way. So I did mention that to the artist, and hopefully in this next concept she does have that fixed. Speaking of the next concept, what did I expect for the third concept? Well, I expected exactly what the artist has delivered for all the other third concepts, which is just a lot more detail added and essentially fixing any little things that I mentioned that I wanted fixed. So with that, we'll go ahead and take a look at the third concept for Relic 18. Alright, so this is the third concept for Relic 18, and yeah, I definitely like this a lot. For some reason, the sword, I don't know, maybe it's shorter. I think she did make it shorter, but it looks like it can do a lot more damage. Even though I don't think it's thicker here, I think what she did is she curved the blade down here further, so it makes the sword look beefier, and she put these things curved up here that have some type of maybe leather wrapped around them, so that's interesting. And it looks like she also either made the fist bigger, the guy's hand, or she either moved this part in some to bring it closer to his fist to actually act as brass knuckles. Now, it does look like she moved the center points over. However, I still do not think this lines up, and it could just be the angle. Yeah, I don't think these points line up. It doesn't look like it. Maybe it's just the way his hand is on here, but yeah, it doesn't look like this actually, this point matches this point. But other than that, yeah, I definitely like this concept, and I did go ahead and tell the artist to proceed with the final image for this. So yeah, that image will be revealed when the game is actually revealed. So what I'll do now is I'll do a side-by-side comparison between each of these concepts for Relic 18, and then we'll go ahead and move on to Relic 19. So yeah, let me put these side by side. Alright, so these are the side-by-sides for Relic 18. So this is the initial concept right here, and yeah, you can definitely see the progression here. Now, one thing that's obvious right away is that the sword is turned from the initial concept to the other concepts, as the curve is here on the initial one, and then on the next ones it's kind of on the opposite side. Let's see, as well as there's spikes added to it. Yeah, that is the major difference between all of these concepts. But let's go from concept 1, the initial concept, to the second concept. Some things that I noticed is the sword, at first it was just a straight line and it had some minor spikes here. And in the second concept, while it is still just a straight piece of steel, it does have some work on it to kind of cut off and make some of these pointed, so the actual main piece of steel just runs straight down here. And as well as, like I already mentioned, the spikes here, the one spike that comes around here. Now I'm not going to mention the guy's arm, as yet that wasn't in the initial concept, it is here. So yeah, some guy is holding the sword. Let's see what else. I think that's it. And some of these spikes at the top were a little bit exaggerated in the initial concept as opposed to the second concept. And you can see that it's not really a full circle as it looks in the initial concept, whereas in the second concept it's more of a semicircle with spikes coming out of there. Now from the second concept to the third concept, there is another pretty big change. A lot of detail is added. You can definitely see the detail in this guy's arm here, even detail on this thing around his wrist right here. It's a lot more detail. There's detail in his hand, there's more detail in his fingers. As I already mentioned, this part here was moved in so that it's not so wide as to not act like brass knuckles. So here it looks like it's actually brass knuckles. This spike here was added to this concept, and looking at this now, this is not symmetrical. Yeah, these two are not the same. This one is a little bit bigger and has a little bit more curvature to it as it comes out, as opposed to this one. Now, that could just be because this piece of steel here that's coming in is kind of covering it, so it might be just an illusion that they are not symmetrical. So I'll have to take a look at that. Now, something else, as you can see, is these spikes got a lot more character in the third render of this. Even up here, a lot more detail is added and a lot more character in the steelwork itself. So overall, I definitely like Relic 18, and I am definitely looking forward to the final image of this. So what I'll do now is I'll go ahead and hop over to Relic 19. Alright, so this is the initial concept for Relic 19, and something that I mentioned right away was that all of the concepts on here, they have a lot more going on than any of the previous concepts. So that was one thing that I liked about this initial concept. Now, the one that I did actually end up choosing was the third one here. I liked it as it was different from the other ones. Now, the second one, I did not like this one at all, as it was just a guy stabbing another guy, so I didn't think that was very unique. And the first one, I did like this one. However, this just reminded me of Thor, so for that reason, I did end up picking the third one. Now, what was I expecting from the next concept? I was expecting what the artist typically delivers, which is more detail for the second concepts. I was hoping that it wasn't going to be a repeat of, I believe it was Relic maybe 14, which had the kind of painted effect look. And it turns out that is what she actually sent over. So I did ask her to do another render of it for the second concept. But we'll go ahead and take a look at the first one she sent over and then take a look at the second version of Concept 2 she sent over. So this is the initial Concept 2 that she sent over, and it is definitely, it looks exactly like the initial concept. The only thing is this painted look. I don't know why, but I'm not really a fan of this look. Maybe it's because the artist, when she first started sending over artwork, the second concepts always had a little more detail and looked a bit more finished than this looks, or the previous one. So with that, I did ask her to redo the second concept or to progress further with this one and send me that when she was finished with that concept. So she did go ahead and send me over a second concept, and we'll take a look at that now. So this was the second version of the second concept that she sent over, and yeah, it does still have that painted effect on the character actually throughout the whole image. However, I do like this more than the initial second concept that she sent over. There's more going on, and I can definitely see where this image is going. Like, even though this lacks detail, I can see that more detail will be added here. This lady is wearing, I don't know what to call this, but this cape or whatever comes out on here. I have no idea what this creature is. Maybe I don't know, frog or tadpole with really sharp teeth, which is also maybe what these creatures on this is as well. And something else that I mentioned in the initial concept was I wasn't sure if this was a spear or a pike, and I'm still not sure in this image here. Now, again, I did accept this as a second concept. So what am I looking for in the next concept? Well, with this being like this, I'm definitely looking for a lot more detail to be added to the main part of this picture. And I'm fairly certain that she will deliver a lot more detail, as well as it looks like she still has the drawing on here. So that's interesting to see, because this gives me a look at how she actually does her art. So she does the sketch, and it looks like in Photoshop or whatever program she uses, she paints in over the sketches that she does. So that's pretty cool. So what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and take a look at the side-by-sides for all of Relic Knight. Alright, so here's the side-by-side for Relic 19, and yeah, from the first concept to the second concept, it is definitely a one-for-one. Everything here looks like a one-for-one. It really just looks like she filled in the color and added the eyes, etc. to this image, as everything looks like it's actually in the same spot. Now, something, actually no, this arm is the back arm here. So yeah, this is definitely a one-for-one, just with color filled in. And again, I really did not like this as a second concept. I was expecting a little bit more detail, maybe some idea of the background. Now, she has sent over a second concept before that really didn't give an idea of the background, and in the third concept, the background was pretty amazing. However, even still with that, I did ask for that second concept. And if we take a look at the difference between this second concept and the other second concept, I'd say there is a really big difference. Even the character herself, the shape does look a little bit different. Maybe she did just move it up here, but this character maybe thinner than this character. The hair is different. This creature here is completely different than the creature in the initial and the second iteration of this. The background just looks a lot better. Like the image as a whole just fits a lot more than this one right here. So yeah, that will be all for this episode, and in the next episode, hopefully we will have the third concept for Relic 19, as well as some initial concepts for some other relics. So yeah, if you like these episodes, be sure to like, subscribe, and all of that other good stuff. Thanks.